back to my channel. My name is Hope and I'm a photographer serving both Charleston and Savannah, and this YouTube channel is where I share education for photographers as well as a little bit of a peek into my life living in the Low Country. And if you've watched any of my other videos or followed me for any period of time, then you know that high school senior portraits are my specialty. They're my bread and butter. They are also my favorite thing ever. I began my business when I was a junior in high school almost 10 years ago now. And so photographing seniors has been just kind of the center and the pillar of everything that's happened in my business. All of the success I've had in my business was built on my love for photographing high school seniors. So I talk a lot about senior portrait photography on this channel, and today's video is going to be about something that we actually got a question about from a subscriber. Somebody commented on one of our videos and asked how we get such genuine smiles and genuine interactions and relationships with our senior clients. And I actually have always really been proud of that in my business. I pride myself on my ability to create genuine connection with my clients and the way that that comes through in their portraits. I think that it's really easy to just think that the concept of marketing personally and creating these genuine connections with your clients is unnecessary because it's not a vital part of your business, but it really does come through in the final images that you create for your clients if they feel comfortable, if they feel confident, and if they have a genuine connection with you as their photographer. And I actually photographed a senior session last night with a client who flew from Oklahoma to Charleston to have her senior portraits taken with me on Rainbow Row. And she talked about that the reason that she booked me against all of the other photographers that she researched, because all she did was Google Charleston senior photographer. And she said the reason that she booked me was because she felt connected to me and felt like she knew me before she ever booked me, before we ever met. And so in this video, I want to break down 3 of the ways that I feel like that happens in my business. 3 ways that I very intentionally and strategically integrate personal connection and client relationships into my client workflow that allows for those more genuine smiles and that more genuine interaction and connection with all of my clients. So the first thing that I have actually talked a lot about on this channel, I have videos dedicated specifically to this concept, but the first thing that I do in every single area of my client experience is that I market personally. I create space for them to feel like they know me before we ever meet in real life. And there are so many ways that I could dive into examples of this, but instead I'll give the example that the senior mentioned at her session last night. Her name was Cora. And on my website, I have a very built out long about me section, a very long meet Hope section on my website. And this section talks very, very minimally about my credentials or my experience as a photographer. And some of you are going to hear that and think, but that's like the whole point. You're trying to sell yourself to a potential client. Why would you not want to spend a lot of time and space on your website, like validating yourself and showing all of the reasons that you know what you're doing and that your prices are worth what you're charging? But I would argue that almost always your clients are not photographers. So there's very few times that somebody is going to look at your website and be able to connect or relate to the places that you've been published or your photography degree or the story of how passionate you are about making memories. I'm not making fun of anybody. I used to have those on my website too. But the biggest disconnect is that you expect that your potential clients who are not photographers and have no interest in becoming photographers are going to be able to connect to the pieces of you that are specific to being a photographer. So instead, on my About page, I highlight things that have nothing to do with my photography. I highlight my favorite Starbucks order. I highlight that I love Chick-fil-A. I highlight my fiance, my puppy, our new house in Savannah. I really give people a glimpse into who I am as a person, completely separate from my photography credentials or my client experience. And the reason that that works is because I call it the 10 tabs rule. And if they have 10 tabs of different photographers open on their computer, I'm literally envisioning them sitting there on Google with 10 different tabs open, everybody's going to be saying, I love making memories. I've had a camera in my hand since the age of 5. I've been taking photos for as long as I can remember. I graduated from this school. Here's all the little graphics of the places that I've been published. All of those websites look the same, right? They all say the same thing. And that kind of means nothing to a potential client that knows nothing about photography. But all of a sudden, Cora saw that my About page said how much I loved Chick-fil-A, chicken nuggets, and that is the reason that she booked me. She literally said that on her client questionnaire and at her session. And I think that that speaks volumes to the power of connecting with your potential clients before they ever showed up. And her mom literally said to me that the reason that she decided to book me, because Cora loved that I loved loved Chick-fil-A, but her mom said she decided to book me because Cora is really shy and a little bit more introverted and needed to feel comfortable with the person photographing her in order to get beautiful images as a result. And they were thrilled with their final gallery. So number one, create room for personal connection by marketing yourself and creating that space for them to feel like they know you before they've ever met you. Number two, the second thing that I incorporate into every one of my senior client experiences is a senior questionnaire. You've heard me talk about this a lot on this channel too. You can actually download my free version of the senior questionnaire in the link below. It's the exact one that I use in my own business so that you can take that and implement this right away. But basically, it allows me to get to know my senior on the same level that they already know me when they come into their senior session. Because if they've read all of these things about me, if they follow me on Instagram, if they feel like they know me when we walk into their senior session, but then I show up and know nothing about them and I'm like, oh wait, what was your name again? All of a sudden there's a major disconnect in how well we're connected and what that relationship feels like to them. So what I do is right after they book me, I send them this senior questionnaire, and it allows me to get to know everything I possibly could about them to provide an incredible experience, but also for us to have conversation points and things to talk about at the shoot and feel like we're on the same playing field of how well we know each other. So I ask the basics like their name, their email, their parents' contact information. I also ask their favorite and least favorite feature about themselves, what they do in their spare time, how they would describe their sense of style, which blog posts of mine stood out to them, which senior sessions they really liked. And it allows me to show up at the session, and when they say, hey, how's your puppy? I can say, he's great. How was your vacation last week? Because I get their Instagram, I follow them, I interact with them, and I learn about their life to the same degree that I want them to learn about mine. So there's no disconnect in that personal relationship. So if you want to download that, you can literally use it in your own business. Just grab it below in the link in the description. Number three, the last thing that I think is vital to a really incredible client experience that creates genuine smiles and genuine connection is the first 15 minutes of every shoot. And what I mean by that is when your client arrives to their shoot, they are probably really nervous. They've probably never worked with a professional photographer before, and it would be incredibly intimidating for them to get out of their car, for me to already have my camera set up and just immediately go into shooting. So what I've learned is the best way to make my clients immediately feel comfortable with me is to leave my gear in the car or in my backpack that I'm wearing and walk up, say hello, talk about their outfits, talk about the plan of where we're going to shoot and what the next hour or 2 hours is going to look like, and then walk together to the first shooting location without my camera out. Talk about those talking points that I just mentioned, the things that you know about them from their questionnaire. Ask them about how school's going, their plans for college. Ask them about if they have any vacations or summer plans coming up. Talk to them and build that connection and relationship right when they show up, before you start shooting, and allow for them to get comfortable with you as a person before you introduce the idea of getting comfortable on camera. Those first 15 minutes of every single senior session are vital to their experience. But I hope these 3 tips were helpful. I hope it was insightful to hear kind of my thought process in those 3 ways that I intentionally create connection with my clients. But make sure you grab that free copy of my senior questionnaire down below. You're welcome to copy and paste that and literally use it in your own business. I would also be so grateful to have you subscribe. My goal is to hit 10,000 subscribers this year, and I post a new video every single Monday for photographers. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.